We're going to get started since all these other guests aren't coming. So they just duplicate in this modern world that we live in. So, not to worry. I'm the accidental chef. My name is Carlos. This is Wade. He'll be your server. So anything you need from him, you just flag him, and he shouldn't be that far from you anyway. Tonight we gave you the menu along with all the recipe cards. I gave you the recipe card so you can remember the name of the dish. I'm not going to follow them real close. So my goal here is not to so much teach you how to read a recipe, but how to cook. So we're going to talk a lot about why things do what and how it achieves the flavor that you want. So because all of cooking is the synergy of the flavors and making that have this wonderful sort of celebration in your mouth. Okay? And the wine is part of the food. So the wine's being paired with the dishes so that it complements it, keeps your palate clean, because once your palate gets sort of coated, you don't taste as much, you don't have as much enthusiasm about eating. So after the third bite, it's really caloric waste if it's not fun. All right? So that's what the wine does. The wine is not designed to intoxicate you. But if you get intoxicated by the food and the experience, that's okay too. All right? Just another little phone up. This people at table 1 are part of a film team that are doing some work for us to begin our own cooking show. So just started happening. So it's all happening right now. So you're like right in the middle of it. All this is happening. It's just sort of like this popcorn. We actually opened the 1st of April. We have been planning this for about 6 months. It took us about 6 months to get this building completely renovated and open. And so we are very excited about that. One of our goals, just to make you aware of it, is that it was to get tour groups. This is what we call our track rack. It's in 59 tourist spots around the state. It puts us out there. We are now, yesterday we got our 6th contract with tour companies bringing tours in. So they all bring multiple tours. Most of them are international. We've had 2 tours with completely French-speaking people where only the guides spoke English. And I know what no ice means in French, because that's about the extent of my French, and they don't like any ice in their water. I apologize. It's a little warm in here. It's 100 degrees today, and we're 3 tons short on the engineering specs. But, you know, that's the joy of having a landlord. So he promised to fix it, and I'm hoping he meant before Christmas. So let me just say, if you get warm, remember you're in the kitchen. This is the back of the house, it's the front of the house in this cooking experience. So we want you to have an experience. We want you to have a good time. We want you to stir up some fun. We want you to take pictures, and I want you right now, if you're on Facebook, to go to our Facebook page, The Accidental Chef, and check in. And then, you already did it. Good for you. All right. And I want you to leave comments. Also today, someone last week was here. He made a video clip and put it on the Facebook page. It's great. So if you're up to that, my man back there will film you before you leave and put you up on the Facebook page. We have a slight problem that my sous chef went to resolve. So that'll be resolved. We have one ingredient missing, and so we'll start with that. Okay, normally this is what I do, but I'm going to push it back a little. Normally I start with dessert, because the dessert needs to set up. In this case, the dessert needs to bake. So we usually do that first. So tonight I'm not going to do that first. I'm going to do the soup first, because it's really our first course. So for the soup, with carrots, onions, bay leaves, and celery tops. And really made a wonderful stock there, which I'm going to put on a low heat. Now, while I'm putting on the low heat, you hear that click, click. I just want to remind you that our corporate sponsor is Colburn's. Use the warming drawer, but you can use it for cooking. Like if you make, let's say you're making ribs, You cook them halfway on the pit, you get them on it, then you put them in the warming jar, they can stay there for an hour and finish cooking so they're bone tender. Or if you're frying food, you put it on the dry setting, you set your fried food in there and it'll stay crispy. It won't sog up because of the way it's designed. And it's in the bottom right here, very accessible. It's a separate unit for this, but we combined them here to make it ease of that. So I'm going to bring in bring the soup up. Jeff, is that you? Did y'all see Jeff?
It's JR.
It's not Jeff and JR are the same person. True. True. This is Jeff or JR. He is Cartoon Blue trained. He will be my sous chef tonight. He will assist me as best he can. I just need 5. So I'm going to go back to the cake since he's back with the eggs. All right. Hooray for Food World. So let's go there. All right. 2 things I want to say about baking is when you're baking, you really don't want to be distracted by anything. So don't answer the phone and don't try to teach a class. But I'm going to do that. If somebody's a teacher, anybody here's a teacher? You are, both of you guys. Okay, well look, if I skip something, shout it out. You can't not skip something in baking. You can, bring it, catch it up in something else, but in baking, you're pretty SOL. You don't have all these readings. All right? Okay. This is what I'm going to do first. I'm going to take,
we're talking about how he's going to cook it.
I'm going to take a half a cup of chardonnay, which is a good vegetable chardonnay. It's not a vegetable chardonnay, then it's animal fat. So it won't have to. Now, it's not so critical if your egg yolk, if your egg white gets in here, but it is a little more critical if your egg yellow gets into the white. It won't rise up as well, but they're easy to retrieve because they don't mix together unless you really give them something to mix with. So I'm going to bring this up so that sugar and the butter and the Crisco all combine and break down the granulation so it's not gritty with the egg. You've got a nice combo there. Buttermilk, dry buttermilk product. Because if you just bake, if you don't bake all the time, then you buy buttermilk, and if you don't like to drink buttermilk, then it sits up and you lose it, okay? One tip that I read recently is that if you want to just use whole milk and a teaspoon of white vinegar, you get the same effect, because it's the acidity in the milk, in the buttermilk, that works with the soda to make the lift. Baking is part algebra and part chemistry. So that's why you have to be real careful about what you're doing. So this is the product. This is dried cultured buttermilk. You know that most milk products that we drink are put in this dry state, shipped over from Poland or somewhere else in the world, and then rehydrated and put in. That's why milk, not organic milk, but other milks have such a long, short shelf life. So when you see them talk about milk product, that's what's happening. Okay? There's lots we don't know about the food source, and it's probably a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and add a quarter cup because it's for 1 cup of water, it's 4 tablespoons. There's 16 tablespoons in a cup, so 4 would be a 4th cup, and that's what I use. I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to bring my flour. I'm going to put my flour in, and I'm going to put my water at the same time. I'm putting the flour on this side and the water on this side because the paddle is pushing the flour in a clockwise motion. So when the flour comes around, the first thing it hits is the water, and I'm not going to dust it up. Okay? No dust, no muss, no muss. Okay, I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a copious amount of very fine Mexican liquor. probably more than the recipe says. Some people say if you use that real Mexican vanilla, you should use less. It only has a half a cup of flour in it. But it's wonderful. It's called outrageous. You can see why. I'm going to add the coconut now, 2 cups of sugared coconut. Now you can use an unsugared coconut if you want. Unsugared coconut is much finer and crispier than the sugared coconut. It's not terribly easy to climb. To that, I'm going to add a cup of chopped pecans. So it looks like I've got everything here that I could ever want. So I'm going to hand this off to Mr. Jeff. I'm going to cut this off. Actually, I'm going to bring this up to a combined speed and mix it for about 30 seconds before I beat my egg whites. Right. I have several of these bowls, so it makes it very easy to go from one to the other and not worry about it. So it's and these accessories are very easy to find online. Those kinds of websites. This is a shield. I'm going to use it so that I can beat the egg whites right away, and they're not going to splash out this back. Now, just a note for those of you who really intend to make this. This recipe will make 36 of these, so don't make this batter and try to fill this because it's way more than you need. Okay? Just one of my students tried that. She called me and said, "What happened?" I said, "I don't know, but I saw it once on Lucy." Alright. And then we're going to do this, and I'm just going to put this on stir because I'm just folding in. I don't want to break down the fluff from the egg whites. So if I beat it too long, I'm just going to break it down, and then I'm going to do this, knock the coconut, which is caught on there, off of there like that. Got that right there. And I'm going to mix this. If it wasn't so hot in here, I would use my new KitchenAid oven that has this beautiful blue interior. This beautiful blue interior sets off the food. Okay, this is a fabulous oven. We are going to use it a little while later for our convection when we make our croutons. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. Okay? All right. Thank you. Now just leave that back with the icing layer so much. Just switch it out now. All right? Cool deal. Any questions about the cake? You can stop me at any time and ask me questions. I'm finished baking, so it's not a problem. All right? Your wine's okay? Everything's good? Nice fruity Chardonnay to go with everything? It's cake because of the 5 eggs. So it's going to do that, and it's very easy to see the white, but you can see there's no more white in there, and it's all combined. Okay? And it's ready for this application. It's going to take about 1/4 of a cup. Now, you don't want to put it too much because it'll make a muffin top, and nobody wants a muffin top, right? Right. Exactly. But you make it muffin tops. All right, well, let's make some soup. I'm going to go ahead and put this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move this to the front of my new KitchenAid range top because this particular burner has 2 settings. It has it has 6 settings. It has a high, medium, and low, and then it has a simmer, high, medium, and low. So I'm going to put it on low, the regular low, and I'm going to bring that up. While we're doing that, this is a very simple recipe. Like I told you, I made the chicken stock earlier. The chicken stock will save. Let me give you a quick recipe for what to do with the chicken. To have these, you need more node space. Tweaking these. They need more node space. Get another one for that first table. If you chill this, the rind that comes on the top, that is chicken fat. And it's the most wonderful thing you will ever eat. You can use it the same as you use butter, in equal amounts to butter. Okay? So when you would chill this chicken and the fat would come to the top, you just scrape that up and put it in a container, leave it in the fridge, and use it like butter. You grind it 1 time. It's very coarse. That's what you call a chili grind. you buy chili grind and it's fatter, it's only been through one time. Most ground meat that we purchase in the market has been through twice. It's got a smaller kind of thing. They use a bigger hole for the first time, reduce the size of the hole, and then run it through a second time. I have my butcher put it through a third time, because when I'm making meatballs, I want it to be really fine. But normally I use pork, ground pork, and a 93.7. That means it's 93% lean beef and 7% fat products. Most ground meat, if it's not marked, it's about 70-30, okay? If it's really cheap, it's about 60-40, which means they have a lot of beef products combined with the lean beef. So when they say beef product, they do not waste any part of the cow in processing, all right? So it could be anything. So I used a 93.7, which is very good. But tonight, I got even luckier. At the market I was at this afternoon, they had what they call the meatball blend. It was already blended. So I bought the ground meat with the pork and the beef already in it. Wow. I got lucky. So making this, and I'm doing this, and I said, oh, I love having this salt right there. And of course, she's a cardiac patient, so I said, oh, I'm sorry. She said, I'll stop you. But Annie had 94. But anyway, so she said, it was my grandmother's. Okay, so the 94-year-old woman's grandmother, that would mean that the grandmother was at least 130. Yeah. All right? Yeah. Right? That would be, if grandmother's at 40, that's early, but still we could say that. But anyway, so at least 130, pre-Civil War. So I'm all excited to have it. So I've added coarse salt and a little red pepper. And that's all I'm really going to put in here. You know what? I need a bowl of water. One of those flat bowls. And I'm going to just start kneading this so I get it like I want it. Just some water in a glass. Well, I'll bring it in the bowl because I'm going to need it to do my hands. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay. That's perfect. I'm just kneading, I'm really just kneading this so that there's no evidence of the grinding. Okay? Now, you can see it's real sticky. That's why I use the water. When I'm going to add the water, it's going to make it much more easier to knead. Now, if I was making a larger meatball, like for tomato gravy, I would use stuff, I would put stuff in there to hold the meat together. Eggs, breadcrumbs, cheese, and other things like this. But these meatballs are real thin. I'm just going to take a little water and I'm going to put that in there like that. Okay? And set that over there. And I'm just going to knead this until all that water's combined. Okay? I'm going to knead that one more time. I'm going to need a plate to put these meatballs on. I'm just going to make one real meatball real quick and then I'm going to hand it off to Jeffy, who's going to make one for us in the back. Sometimes I feel like the fresh ground meat is kind of scary. Okay? Just going to make a little bitty meatball, just you see like that, because it's going to go in your soup and it's really designed to be a single bite. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to make some little bitty meatballs, very tiny, just kind of push them together, because we're going to put them in the, when we put them in the hot liquid, they're just going to go first, so we just put them right in the hot liquid. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of discussion. I'm a Sicilian. I come from a long line of Sicilian people that are never wrong. You know, the first rule of being a good Sicilian is that you have to hold a grudge for life. Okay, so, and whether or not you brown your meatballs in the oven or put them in